This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Blackhand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez. Welcome to another episode of Uncensored. We're going to get to the nitty gritty. Let's get down to it. Let's get down and dirty, right? And we're going to talk about the beginning of the Maxon Road massacre. All you guys know about this. An entire family was eliminated in Almonte, California. And it all starts with one guy, right? His name is Luis Maciel Pelon from El Monte Flores, right? Born in 1969. He had previously worked for a Mexican Mafia member by the name of Frankie Buena, Frankie B. Frankie B was eliminated some time back under the orchestration of Daryl Castrejon. Daryl Castrejon, Mexican Mafia member who fled to Mexico and has been reported dead a number of times, right? That guy's got 9 lives. He gets killed every couple of years. So Frankie B was eliminated, but was functioning in El Monte, California, and Luis Maciel Pelon from El Monte Flores used to work for him. Shy met him and began working with him on the streets. Raymond Huero Shy. So what you're going to see here is a hotel meeting. This series has been ran ad nauseum, right? But we're going to break it down and relate it all to the organization. The inception here is Pelon Maciel, and this will segue at some point into the Maxon Road massacre, which is a forthcoming episode that I think that you'll all really enjoy. So what you're seeing here is an induction video, right? This is the only time in the history of the Mexican Mafia that a Mexican Mafia member being made, the voting process and the vetting process is being conducted right in front of your eyes. Never before captured on video. This video was recorded on 4/2/1995 at 3:54, approximately that time, p.m. And you're seeing Carnals here. I'll identify them each as we go along. The individual on the left standing is Victorio Murillo, the individual sitting with your back with a dark slingshot. That is China Boy Arias. Both of those individuals are deceased. The next individual on the right with his back sitting on the bed, I believe is Carlitos from Lomas. The individual with his back towards the camera is Ernie Castro, who's an acting FBI informant at the time. Huero Shy is sitting in the corner. You'll hear his booming voice, and there's other Carnals that I'll identify along the way. Let's watch this video as they introduce Pelon to the Mexican Mafia members.
Another perico. Gibby, mucho gusto. And this is Randy. Yeah, we're just discussing something right now. So if you want to go in and out and come back here.
All right. One goodness.
There's a bar downstairs.
By the way, is there a bar named Pablo?
Yeah.
Fox?
Yeah, that's what they said. They told me.
Is there? Is there a bar?
I was told, yeah.
I
was told in the bay.
raise his hand for that.
Yes, I was in the bay,
I
yes.
put him in, he to raise his hand.
Hey, yes, I was in the bay. It was like, before I was, yeah. Fox from South Florida.
I said no.
You know, that's I never heard of them. I checked with his brothers, nobody knew nothing, so I said no. No, they told me, and I told them I never heard of them. They called me back in a couple of days, and I'll tell you. And then they called me back.
Back to what we were saying, I think the place where we need to start cleaning that shit up is in Pelican Bay.
That's where it's going.
Them are the bottles that are doing it. We're out here on the streets, and we're not running around tossing motherfuckers in. Every day, and there's a whole bunch of people out here that I'm sure where they're doing it is up there, you know, and they don't even get a chance to see what them guys are about just because you got a big old brush and buff, you got tats and all this shit.
That's what's happening. But they're gonna say they're doing it. Why come we can't do it? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, you know, we can have a vote on it a little while, but just for the benefit of the doubt, just have a stay just for a little while. Then try to get you know.
And I think the feds have the books closed right now too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm in agreement to closing the books, like I said, and
Okay, so what you're hearing is opposition from Carnals about making Pelon. They're attempting to make Pelon in this meeting. Huero Shy is sponsoring him. And again, Huero Shy speaks vociferously for him. I mean, he's adamantly asserting his dominance in this meeting. You're going to hear a lot of opposition, and Huero Shy is going to push this through. But listen to Perico. Perico from Flats, that's Armando Ochoa, who's sitting to the right of the frame, who's out of focus and not in view. But you'll hear him speak about me as well. I got a number of comments in the comment section about wanting to hear when Carnales speak about me. Perico is going to do just that here, and I'll stop the video at that point and I'll tell you when it is.
and for the reason that you said. But like I say, I brought this vato up before that even came up. I brought it up the last one time. And I would like to at least get some consideration right there before we even get a vote on that.
Well, I already tell you how it's about.
Because remember before when we used to know it, dude, we knew him from YA. We knew his track record, too, you know, from when he was in Tracy, Soledad, before he even got to the pen. Everybody knew him or knew something about him or heard about him, you know? And now we got dudes, man, we don't even know about, nobody heard about, you know, but the guy goes in the county jail and the guy's got drugs, and, you know, and he's running the drugs real good right there in the county jail. So now I'm gonna make him my brother, you know.
Or he must stab somebody one time and all of a sudden he won't get him in.
You know, then we have to consider también dudes and making dudes brother that we're gonna have to take care of later. I mean, not down him, but take care of him. Basically, you know, because he's too small, he can't take care of himself. Guy getting up somewhere, he might get butt fucked or beat down.
That is a ridiculous oppositional reason to bring up. They're not going to make a guy who's weak. So one thing about Perico, Armando Ochoa, he's an oppositionist, right? He's a lord of discipline, right? He asserts this attempted opposition on everybody, kind of like Fox does when opposing memberships. He attempts to oppose everything, to assert his dominance. I think that's a lack of self-confidence, right? Because the only time he has a voice and power is when he opposes, right? And here he's doing that. And to bring up a reason like a Carnal being too small, he's going to get sexually assaulted, we're going to have to take care of them. If a Carnal can't carry a yard by himself and dominate everybody in that prison just with his presence, then he's not Carnal material. I say that with complete certitude, right? They're not going to make a guy who's weak.
There's a lot of things. It's not just the, you know, the heart and the
That's right,
you got to look at all aspects of the matter. Pero la cosa es allá. There's 2-3 little groups running around up there, and these groups right here are putting dudes around them. They're putting.
Right now, he's talking about me. He's going to say so, and he's going to say so by not saying so. Because he's talking to Huero Shy, one of my primary supporters, and an individual that I consider my padrino. And he knows Shy supports me wholeheartedly. So he's going to say the phrase, I'm not going to say any names, but these guys are dropping Carnales everywhere. And in a rapid period of time, and this era here, I made 3 Carnales, right? I made Chaco, I made Little Mo Ruiz, Chaco from Azusa, Little Mo Ruiz, and I made Dead-Eye Ed, Chuco's Carnal, Chuco's brother.
Dudes around them for what reason I don't know. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like, you know. But I don't want to, you know, go as far as to you know, say like that. But they're putting dudes around them, you know, every little group in this. So the brothers up there had a junta, and they said, you know, for at least a couple of years, you know, hold back until this stuff gets straightened out because of, you know, because Babo and them over there, there's some Tori got behind them, you know, from Florence over there. And there's some Nenguate and them over here, Duki over here, you know, and they're just a few names to mention, you know, and they got their own little groups, their little followers and stuff. You know. Well, you know, you were up there, so, but it got worse, you know, so you know more or less where I'm coming from. You know, so,
you know, when I was there too, one person, if you raised your hand for somebody, he'd say no. Because, you know, he said, I want to talk to you.
Okay, well, anyway, that's another issue. Like I said right now, I would like.
So you're hearing Perico again voice his opposition. He's throwing names about, because there were little cliques of Cardenales in Pelican Bay. This is when we were isolated. There was a lack of communication, and there was a lot of abuse in the induction process. Cardenales were popping up in the law library saying they were Cardenales, and they were made by 2 or 3 brothers in a pod, right? This is what Perico's talking about here. And he's not to be confused with Ralph Rocha. Armando Ochoa is a different Perico. Ralph Rocha is from Norwalk. Perico from Norwalk, and Ralph Armando Ochoa here is from Primera Flats.
Bring this dude in because I brought it up before this came up, and I would like to, and I think he would be an asset to us, not just because of any violent that he's done. He's got a good head, and he don't need nobody holding his hand. You know, I don't have to hold his hand.
Well, how about if, how many brothers here know the guy?
Nobody here knows him.
Well, see, that's the thing. How about giving some of these other brothers a chance to know the dude?
Yeah, well, see, I said
You know
that
what I'm
about
saying?
Chuchuco.
You know, because see, that's
Vatos in this room right here.
one of the problems. Your brothers are not getting a chance to meet these other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Before, a dude was a brother, 4 or 5 brothers knew him. Que no, Victorio?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just,
Well,
I know the
there's-
guy,
there's
I know
nobody-
him, I know him.
Wait a minute, there's
And
nobody in this
you know,
room that knows him, but there are Vatos that know him. No,
And
there's
know-
nobody in this room that know him.
Well, see, that's,
I know.
I think that's one of the,
You know que no.
that's one of the problems. The other brothers are not getting a chance to know him, you know?
Yeah, but we
So-
get dudes in all the time. Nobody, not everybody can ever know a guy, man. Anybody.
Well, not everybody, but some other brothers. Yeah, but I'm not trying to.
No, I know what you're saying.
We'll talk
But
with you,
there are other carnales that know this dude though. Nobody in this room, the ones that know him that ran with him are busted.
Yeah, cause see, and then, somebody here goes to county jail or goes to another pinta and they bring up this guy's name and he don't even know him. Or even if he just knows him because I know his name, you know, but I don't know him right here. In my heart, I don't know him. I never ran with him. I ain't even drank with him. I ain't, no party with him.
How many Vatos in this room do you know like that?
Well, there's just a handful here that I know, but,
There's
maybe
a
that's,
whole bunch of carnales in this room that I never knew Champ when I voted to make him a carnal. I never met him in my life. I didn't know China Boy.
well, I
I didn't
can't.
know Gibby right here. I never knew Perico. I know
Well,
the only ones in this room I know is you.
Well, see, that's
going
another
to-
thing of voting against somebody, because you don't know 'em. But the point here I'm trying to put here is give us a chance, the rest of the brothers a chance to know him.
Yeah,
too.
by then,
And then like that,
books are gonna be closed.
the books is supposed to be closed now.
Not out here, Don.
Not out here, but I'm just.
Okay, well, anyway, I raised my hand for the Vatos. Now you Vatos make a choice, man. That's all I can do.
He's going hardline. Huero Shy just went hardline. He's not having it. He says, hey, I raised my hand, you guys make a choice. Because Perico is just running his cock holster. Just put it like it is, right? Perico does this with everybody. And Huero Shy told me he was Sally's with him at one point, and that's all he ever did was oppose anything that came up because he exerts his little power and control issue, right? That's a huge thing in the Mexican Mafia. Dudes issue, flexing muscle, what they call a flex, right? That's what Mexican Mafia members do to each other, right? And Perico's attempting to do that here.
Well, let's make this dude an exception and leave him, let a few brothers get to know him for a while.
Brother,
Whatever.
esa guy as good as you say.
A few
It's
months,
as good as
a
you
few
say.
months, then it'll come back up. This is the only dude
I'm not gonna
that
I said the same thing
The
with
vote
China
is
Boy.
closed.
I said the same thing with China Boy, and all of a sudden I come to a junta and everybody's pushing it, and they made him a carnal. And I said, okay, well I ain't gonna say nothing. But see, I know the truth, So what
Oh, I'm
you're
not
telling
saying,
me?
no, what I'm saying is, okay, then everybody say, well, let's make this dude an exception, say, all right, we'll let a few brothers get to know.
Now, that's Perico Rocha, Perico from Norwalk speaking. Yeah, you can see him, he's all blurred out in the light in the upper right-hand corner. That's him talking right now.
The next junta, then you'll come to vote.
A month ain't gonna make no difference how.
Well, I ain't saying it's to me either, but I'm saying that a few other people are under saying that, hey, that they don't know him. You know what I mean?
All right,
Know what I'm
so that's what you're
See,
saying.
you hear? No, that's I'm just saying. That's just.
He don't want to say no. See, you're putting everybody in a position right now.
It's like a yes or no. You know,
I
who's
say
going
I
against it?
know. We're not gonna make this dude.
I've said what I can say for the Vatos.
You know, all I can do now is let you out to decide. You know, that's all.
You're making it sound so final, Mo.
Can the
You're making it
brothers
sound
vote?
so
Can the
final.
brothers, do you need an immediate vote right now, or can the brothers, later on come to a decision?
That's up to everybody.
See,
That's
what
up
I'm,
to-
to me,
that's up to
it
everybody.
sounds so final, like either, like if we don't come to a decision
No,
now,
no,
this dude,
I'm not saying
it's
that.
either now or never. That's what it sounds like. It sounds real final.
The individual speaking now is the individual depicted in the last hotel meeting at another location that was trying to steal everything, that was jumping around, came in a slingshot and a beanie. That's Gibby. Gibby is there voicing his opinion, and it's really not even being taken into consideration.
That's probably what it'll come to, because then we're gonna make a vote in a little while about
That's
closing.
something like, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this could possibly happen. We could sit here and decide, well, you know what? Yeah, we're going to ride with Perico, or, and say, you know what? Okay, we're going to consider this dude, and, we're going to get to know him for a couple of months. And even if this, the book's closed, since he can't, he'll be that exception to be made, even if the books are closed, whatever, because he came up before that. And just give us some time to know him. And then we won't have to worry about the books being closed. And then, a couple of months from now, we'll bring it around again and say, hey, well, check it out. You guys had all the opportunity in the world. If you haven't gotten on by now, it's because you don't want to. Let's throw it up for a vote. And then that way no one can say anything.
Wait, check this out. Let me say
All I'm
something.
saying is,
Let somebody say something. Anybody else has, let me say something. You guys keep saying, give it time, but who's got the time to sit down and split, have this guy run around with you? That's the thing, though. See, that's what he's trying to make. That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm thinking he's trying to say. Do you got the time to sit around and drink him to get to know him right now, or this is where we really get to know the brothers right here?
You missed the whole concept.
That was Sammy Bialba speaking there about who's got the time to get to know a brother. An interesting fact that everybody with their back turned to the camera, with the exception of Chuco, is now deceased, eliminated at the hands of the organization. Chuco is, again, a federal informant in the witness protection program somewhere in the United States. With that said, folks, I'm going to end this episode here. We're going to get back into it. This is going to be a couple of different episodes on this hotel meeting. It's a new hotel meeting. And again, keep in mind that this is the inception. This is the beginning of the Maxon Road Massacre. That episode is going to be coming. We're going to break it down for you. And we're going to break it down with you, introducing this primary player in this video, Luis Pelon Maciel from El Monte Flores.